Hi guys, it's Kara, the Granite State Stitcher, and I am coming at you today with my StitchCon recap with a little side trip to Hobby House thrown in there. Today is Monday, June 30th. It is a gorgeous day outside here in New Hampshire, and I can't believe that the month of June is already done with. I had a very, very busy June, so it has flown by. So I know that a lot of people have already posted their StitchCon videos, but I just thought that I would come on and share my experience with you. So I went with my friend Amy from Two Cross Stitchers, and I spent last Tuesday night or the Tuesday before that, the 17th at her house because it was going to save me an hour in the morning on my end because we live about an hour away from each other. So I spent the night at her house. We got up early Wednesday morning and we drove to Ohio. And it was supposed to be roughly between 12 and 13 hours. We were planning on getting there around 8 o'clock at night, sometime between 8 and 9. And the trip was pretty much uneventful, other than there was some construction in Western New York. But we were riding along pretty smoothly until probably about 2 hours outside of Sharonville, and the skies opened up. It was torrential downpours, high winds. I believe Amy's husband told her there had been a tornado warning in effect, and there were tree branches blowing everywhere. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of the car because of the rain, and of course it was pitch black. So traffic, you know, halted to a crawl, and that took some time for us to get there. And once the storm passed, it was still pretty hot out, so um, we were enlightened by a heat lightning display for the remainder of the trip. But we finally got there safe and sound. And the next morning, the doors open at 10. And I am not one of those type of people that will stand in line at 7 a.m. trying to get a table. There's always plenty of seats available when you get there. So Amy and I found our way in, and this began the whole experience. We took this was my second time going. I went last year, but this was Amy's first time. And so we did take the Stitchy bus over to Keepsakes. Um, and Amy took, I think, a picture of every room in the house. I mean, if you've never been to Keepsakes, it is jam packed, floor to ceiling with models and displays. And I wasn't really going to get anything at Keepsakes because I figured I was saving my money for the annex. And I'd already been to Keepsakes before, but I did end up buying a few things, which I will show you in haul. Um, so that was a little fun trip. And then the rest of the time, um, was just the whole StitchCon experience. I did manage to get a finish during StitchCon, which I will have in my regular video. I didn't take too many projects with me because I figured I am going to focus on one project, and then if I finish that one, I will turn to a next project. But I mean, of course, people show up there with loads of projects, but I kept it to a minimal. And so, but I did not go up and ring the bell. I'm not one of those people that will go up and ring a bell. So I was pleased that I did get a finish. And shopping at the annex was wonderful. Cecilia Turner is now going to be the special guest designer for Keepsakes. Sue Hillis is retiring, and they actually had some items from Sue Hillis's personal collection up for auction, available as auction items. So that was cool. And let's see what else happened. So Allie won a door prize, Allie was registered for StitchCon. Um, However, her soccer schedule interfered, and she was invited to try out for um, a new soccer team, an elite soccer team or league, I should say. And so she tried out for that for 2 days, and she made it. And then she was invited to try out for a travel team that goes to regionals all over the country. And those tryouts were the Thursday and Friday night of StitchCon, 6 to 8. So she went to those tryouts. She made that team. So she's very excited. They traveled from Nebraska to Ohio on Saturday. It was a 12-hour trip for them. Josh's parents live about 40 miles north of Sharonville. So I went and picked Allie up Sunday morning, was able to spend some time, with my daughter and Josh and his parents, brought Allie back to the convention center. And we were there for a couple hours. She got to go into the annex. She got to see what was left on the brag tables. And then she found some patterns on the freebie table, and she sat down and started stitching. But the patterns that she won for the door prizes, um, the first one is Little House Needleworks ABC Floral. And it came with the floss. And then the next one is, another Little House Needleworks Autumn Spice. And this was a Nashville special. And it came with the classic colorworks that were specifically designed for this pattern. So she got 2 patterns. And why do I have them? Because I had put them in with my stuff and then I couldn't find them to give to her. So I sent her a text message yesterday showing her. So, of course, all the stuff at StitchCon. The brag tables were beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I'll insert some pictures here. there of the brag table. And then the freebie table was out of control, out of control. One long table. I mean, there were bins and bins and bins of freebie stuff. I was just grabbing, there were some bins that were just full of old magazines, and I would have loved to have gone through all of them. I did come home with some, but what I was doing was taking a stack at nighttime back to the hotel with me, and I would flip through them. And if there was anything in there that I thought I might like, then I kept it. And if not, I just brought it back the next morning and put it back on the table. So that was, you know, what a wonderful way to, at least peruse the resources that are there. So our table, I don't have all the table gifts. There were so many people walking around giving you things and handing out things. And I had a whole bag and I just gave it to Allie and I said, you flip through it and you take what you want. And of course, she took all the scissor fobs, the zipper pulls, needle binders, any small tin, no matter what was in it. She liked the tins. Um, but that was fine. I was glad that she was there and able to enjoy the experience. So some of the things that were that I did receive, these were handed out by Neil, who I was sitting at his table, and he handed out just these little cute little freebie charts. Um, very cute. And then the bat stitcher, a lot of people were handing out free patterns. And this is from the Stitch Crypt. And then another one. Excuse me. And then Heidi at our table made everybody a project bag. And the zipper pull has a little needle threader on the end. So I thought that was very cute and very resourceful. And then someone else at our table gave out a little bag of items, goodie items. Allie took the rest of them, but she says, Grammy, you can have the Starbucks card. So I have the Starbucks card. Somebody was handing out these cute little frogs upside down. And then just tons of stuff that people were going around handing out. This was the make and take item from StitchCon. It's a little zipper pull key fob. Some little bling there. I don't know how I ended up with these and Allie didn't take them. What does this say? Oh, rip it. Rip it, and there's a little frog on the end down there at the bottom. So cute. Lady Dot Creates ribbon with a little charm. A little charm, needle charm. Sunflower charm. Little starfish with sea glass. Another floss bling. Oh, and another fob that Allie did not get. This actually has the little heart and hand charm on it. So those are just some of the things that people were handing out. Um, and of course, the auction items this year, they had a lot. Barbara had some of her personal stuff in there. There were full, um, full what's the word I'm looking for? Floss. Um, there was baskets that were made up. So just a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So I will go through some of the stuff I got off the free table and the haul that I got at Keepsakes and in the annex, and then show you what I got at Hobby House on our way back. Okay, so when you first get there, when we first got in the door, Barbara was standing right there at the top of the stairs greeting everyone. And then you go down the stairs to the registration table, and Steph and Pam are there getting you registered, handing out the chips if you're going to do the smalls exchange. And of course, they hand out your bling bag. Um, so, of course, you get your name tag. And these are the bags that they handed out this year. And it's actually a cooler. So very, very well constructed, very nice. It actually matches the large bag that we got last year, which is a good sized tote bag. And it's a backpack, so you can just fling this over your shoulder. And we got a floss organizer. And then we also got a phone stand. And Allie opened hers up and she was using it to hold her pattern. So it works for both. So that was very nice. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I am just the type of person I can never have enough bags. I am like the ultimate bag lady. I have bags and bags in my house just full of stuff that does need to get organized someday. So on the free table, they had everything that you could think of. I got a scroll frame that was still in the package. There was fabric. I picked through the fabric and got some fabric. Hoops, embroidery floss, um, the plastic containers that hold um, your floss drops or your bobbins, anything and patterns and magazines, anything that you could think of that is cross stitch related. I mean, needle minders, anything that you can think of was on that table. So along with the fabric, I also picked up these two packages, and they are embellishment kits, which are really cute, and they're full of ribbon and lace and trims. And I got two of them, and braids and charms, and these are from Pepperell, Mass. Pepperell Patchworks. I don't know if they're still around. I should have looked, but they're just embellishment kits. And this one even has fabric in it. So very nice. I had never seen anything like this before, so that was cool. And then I just started going through the patterns. I found a Mill Hill, which I think I will make up for my son. He loves hamburgers. A little elf Christmas kit. Another Christmas kit. Little pattern. I found a butternut road. This is winter sampler. Dimensions. America. This is cute. Bent Creek Road Trip, part of their Snapper series. And look at that little truck pulling that camper. That is so adorable. And then somebody must have really destashed their Poutini collection. Most of them were her When I Think of series. And so this is the complete When I Think of Alphabet series. And so cute. So cute. So these are all the patterns together. When I think of traveling, when I think of cooking, sorry, I should have pulled these out of the plastic. And then some of the Christmas ones. Sweet Holidays, complete with a button there on the back. Guess I can't do this left-handed. Sweet Strawberry button. Do not open until Christmas. And Christmas Trio. So those were nice to get. A bunch of little smalls. And then there was a Told in the Garden pattern. This is Amish Pioneers. Satsuma Street. Tree Topper. Heartstring Samplers. I have never seen this one. It's called Hopper's Town. And this is pretty thick, a lot of pages, so I'm guessing this is going to be a pretty big stitch. 200 by 150. Then a couple Silver Creek samplers, Flying Lessons, Flying Aviation, and then Memory Era. This is so true. I can recall most 1980s lyrics, but still can't remember the reason I came into this room. Perfect. And then they had a couple of tiny modernists. Up All Night, and the Gemini zodiac symbol for her big pattern zodiac symbols, which I've seen a couple of people doing this, and I think this was done as a sal a couple years back, a mystery sal, but now the whole pattern is available, and I would really like to stitch this. I think I would change some of the colors. If you've seen them, the colors are really pastel-y, so I would definitely change up some of the colors. And then there were some blue flowers. So we got Winter Blooms, Tudor Swan, I remember when this came out, and Good Dog. So there were some great patterns on the freebie table. I know that somebody, Haley at my table, found a Teresa Wensler. I don't know which one it was, but I know it was one of the older ones. And somebody found an out of print Mirabilia. I don't know which one that one was either, but I heard the screech when she came across it. Then I got, this was, I don't know, looks like it was torn out of a magazine, but it says, "Caution, I break for cross stitch shops." I'll hold it back here because that's all it is. And then I picked this up because my son-in-law likes llamas. He's part Mexican, and he has so he loves all the Mexican cooking, anything that has to do with Mexican heritage, and he has a thing for llamas. And these are adorable, and they're felt alpacas and llamas. So I'm going to give this a shot. Um, I'll probably head up to Camp Wool and see what they have there, but they're just so adorable. Okay, then Sarah, don't get angry at me. I did get some books. I'm sure that you already have these. The first one is A Cross Stitch Christmas Timeless Traditions. And I did look these books up on the internet, and they're very inexpensive. They range from $4 up to, I think the most expensive one was 30, and that's for this one because it's a specialty book. And I was looking at the patterns in here, and oh my gosh, this will be a challenge to do some of the patterns in here, but absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, I think the most expensive one price I saw for this book was either 30 or 34. But there's one that I would really love to do, and it's called Summer Days. So this is what the chart looks like. And this whole thing is specialty stitches. I mean, you have bullion stitches in there for some of the flowers and other stitches. So, but it does explain all the stitches. That might have to wait till I retire because that's going to be a full-time stitch. And then greetings and cross stitch. You can make little cards. How adorable. So adorable. So I got those books. And then I got 23 Cricut collection charts. I love the Cricut collection. The Cricut collection has probably just a nostalgic place in my heart because that was the very first designer that I started cross stitching. And I can remember, and I don't have that particular pattern, that particular chart, but I can remember it was the jar lids that went on the jars of jams and jellies because I used to stitch those for my grandmother. And this is back when I was in high school. So someday I will come across that chart again. But so for now, I just collect the Cricut collection. So, okay, so then there was this one, Courier and Ives collection by Thomas Kincaid. And somebody had actually started this. The fabric's in there, and they got like one whole block done. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. We'll see. Then Twin Peaks, I'll Be Home series, The May House. This I got, this is plastic canvas. A Haunting We Will Go, and I love this candy dish right here. I think it's so adorable. And I love these bats too. So we'll do something with that. Then this one, the Halloween Company, all these ornaments right there. And then like these little bats on the basket, how cute. And that chart right there. And this is from Antique Needleworkers. Shelley had a trunk show there. This is Delia Conger. And I believe this was the first one that she charted, if I remember correctly. But but it was there on the freebie table, so I took it. I like the colors on that. Blackbird design, souvenirs of summer. And then this one, I kept taking, putting back, taking and putting back. The copper kettle. Now, again, I think this was more of a sentimental pickup for me because both my mother and my grandmother had this copper teapot. And my mother's even had the blue ceramic handle like this one does. So who knows if I'll ever stitch it, but I guess in case I do want to. Then there was a Carolyn Manning. Is that Violet Dream? And this one, Portrait of the Civil War. Now I can see my son absolutely liking these two flags. And then you have Lee and Grant, these two guys on the horses, couple on the back. And then this looks like it's a collaborative between Hands-On Design and Ink Circles. And it looks like it was a series because it says Sampler 6. And it's called Second Spring. So I'm wondering if they did one of these for every season and maybe a couple of holidays. But look at the biscornos there on the side. And then Annie B's Folk Art, The Sheltering Tree. So we have summer, spring, and winter. So I will just have to hunt down fall. And this one is Animal ABCs by the Vickery Collection. Never heard of this company before, but I absolutely love those ABCs, that alphabet. And it's a kit, floss, and this does not feel, oh, it is. I was going to say it didn't feel like it was stiff Ada, but it is. That's okay. I'll change it out. And then there was cornflower biscornu, which I thought was up. Those are right up my alley. I love blue. Erica Michaels, Good Every Day. And this is supposed to be like a little needle book or accessory book. As you can see on the back, you got needles and pins, scissors, but they also made it into, it looks like a box cover. So I'm sure that you could just make this as a straight flat out piece if you didn't want to do the little accessory. Autumn Lane, To All a Good Night. I like this pattern, but I don't think I like how it's cut out like this, so I think I would just do straight arches down the side. Then maybe do this as a stand-up. Moose Scene by Julie Moose Designs. Now this person was a vendor at the first Library Stitches retreat. And a lot of black work in this. And of course you got the mountains and the trees of Maine. And you got this can be either the lakes or the oceans of Maine. So I like that one. Then I grabbed some Rosewood Manors, When We Plant a Tree, Porch Welcome, and Hillrise Garden. This one I grabbed because it just caught my eye. I'm guessing that maybe Allie would like to have this, or maybe as she gets older, maybe she can stitch this. This is called the Kingdom Sampler, and it's by Dragon Dreamings Designs, and they're out of New Brunswick, Canada. And I just thought this was stunning. Talk about fairy tale and folklore. Absolutely gorgeous. This I know that I've seen in a book. This is White Christmas, and it's Hardinger, and it's by Thea Duck, and I know that I've seen this before. But I grabbed it, and then this one just, Queen's Gambit by Firewings Design. This one just caught my eye. I thought, wow, that's awesome. This one, I just laughed when I saw it. Actually, the name of the pattern is called Swagger, but I think it should just be called A. I just laughed when I saw that. So cute. And then we got a Dalmatians one, which I will stitch for Allie or my daughter. And then there was this one, Satin Stitch B. And it comes with the finishing fabric and the floss. And I just thought that was a real stunning design. Sorry about the glare. And then there were some Captain's Crafts cross stitch. This is Colorful Sailboat, and actually I grabbed these for Allie because I thought she might like to do these, but she thought they would be too hard for her. And then, what's this called? Oh, Watercolor Cat. Another Thomas Kincaid, Leisure Arts, Rose Arbor Cottage. I love Thomas Kincaid. Thomas Kincaid was my generation growing up. I used to get all the puzzles that were Thomas Kincaid, and I just love all the cross stitch. The paintings that he had, just his use of light just draws me in. Another Leisure Arts, Tea, Roses, and Romance. Another older traditional cross stitch. Another Alphabet, Nature's Alphabet. And then I saw this, and it's like, whoa. It's called the Savannah Floral Collection. There we go. And of course, it's a kit with the black Ada. This one I will not be starting anytime soon. I have too many other large projects going on, but that was just stunning. A Busilla cross stitch with music. What's the name of this? Celebration of Music. May Basket Sampler. Jeanette Douglas Quaker Pin Cushions. And then I grabbed a couple dimensions. This one is Winter Feast. Victorian houses. I've always wanted to do one of the dimension Victorian houses patterns. Dove of Peace. And this one's just the pattern. Somebody already stitched it. And Woman Stitching. This is a big one. So that is what came off the freebie table. So hold on for a minute and I will grab my haul from the annex and from Keepsakes and Hobby House. Okay, so on the day that we went to Keepsakes the first day that we were there because it was supposed to be hot all weekend. And we figured that we would get the trip to Keepsakes done, over and done with the first day, so we wouldn't have to worry about being on the bus or even leaving the building because the AC, at least it was nice inside the building. So I wasn't going to get a lot of Keepsakes, and I pretty much kept to that plan. I did pick up a thread winder because I'd wanted to get a thread winder, floss winder. And then I saw this and I thought it was so adorable, a fishing pole with a fish. And how cute would that be to like mount on a frame if you have a frame, a fish that you stitched, and which, as a matter of fact, Amy brought her fish for the brag table. So I had these two things and I thought, okay, good, that's all I'm getting, right? Well, you have to leave, you have to walk through where the fabric is, and their checkout is way over in the corner by the back door. And so there was a piece of fabric, I saw it, okay. Went and paid for my stuff, then came back in because I was waiting for Amy. And like I said, Amy took pictures inside Keepsakes if you want to go over to her video, 2 cross stitches to see. And then that fabric was just calling to me. And it is a 32 count Lugana. And the color is Stonewash, and it's a seraphim. And I hope this is showing up okay. It's a very pale blue with pale gray and white. And it is absolutely stunning. I hope you can see that. And now that I'm looking at this, I think I have the perfect piece to go on this. I almost made it out of there without buying fabric, but that's okay. So those were my purchases at Keepsakes, those 3 things. And then in the annex, they had over 30 trunk shows, I think. And I took Allie in on Sunday. Allie didn't really see any patterns that she thought she would be able to do. She thought that they were all too difficult for her. But she found stuff on the freebie table, so she was happy. And like as I mentioned, Cecilia Turner is now going to be the specialty designer for Keepsakes, replacing Sue Hillis. And Cecilia Turner is Heart and Hand. And this is the pattern that she designed for this year's StitchCon. Kindred Friends, and it's just exclusive for StitchCon. So I did not get the fabric, but I did get the that go already there. Then I got the finishing, and I gave one of these to Amy as a little gift. Then I did get a couple of stitches. I got Boomerang Stitches had a trunk show there. So I got this one, Milkweed and Monarch. And this one, Land That I Love from Cherry Blossoms. She had a lot of nice patriotic stitches and I had to control myself. I had a budget. I said I was not going to spend over $200 in the annex because I knew we were going to Hobby House. So I think that between the annex and um, what I spent at Keepsakes was right around 200. I think it was maybe 203. And that's not including what Allie got. Like I said, Allie got a project bag and a needle minder. She found a Disney project bag and a Disney needle minder, and that's all she wanted. And then this is the project bag that Amy gave to me. Again, she knows I love the red, white, and blue. So that was the annex and Keepsakes. Okay, I guess I will have to show my Hobby House purchase as part of my regular video haul because I can't find it. I have no idea where it is. So anyway, it was a wonderful trip. I know that it can be a little pricey to go to Keepsakes, especially if you're traveling, I mean, to StitchCon. Especially if you're traveling a great distance. This year we actually had somebody from France there. I know that last year we had somebody from India. So all I can say is that put it on your bucket list. Start saving because I think it's something that everyone should experience at least once. So it was a fabulous time. You meet so many new stitchy friends. There were a lot of familiar faces that I had met last year and I saw again this year. I did not make it to the late night stitching room this year. I was a little bit disappointed in myself for that, but you know, I was pretty low key this year and I was too busy going through magazines back in my hotel room every night. But it was a load of fun. Um, and go ahead and watch all the other StitchCon recaps. I'm sure they have more to add or a different perspective, or you know they'll include more photos or videos. I really didn't take a lot this year. Again, probably because I had been there last year. But anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time with a regular video. Take care. Happy stitching. Bye.